Theodore, will FFRCT eventually replace stress tests? So what's FFRCT? This is fractional flow reserve, and this is a way of using a CT scan, a CT angiogram, to help understand whether the narrowing that is in a coronary artery in the heart is causing what we would consider hemodynamically significant stenosis, meaning what is the pressure gradient across that narrowing? And if the drop in pressure from before the narrowing to after the narrowing is significant, and we would say, like more than 70 or 80% tends to be pretty significant, then that might be how we guide the placement of stents in the future. This is potentially more sensitive than a stress test. And a stress test is everything from actually putting you on a treadmill and making you climb, do the Bruce protocol on a treadmill test, or people do pharmacologic stress tests. They inject something that makes the heart muscle work really hard and stress it that way. Some people do this with PET imaging. Some people do this with an echo or just an EKG. Stress test is all kinds of different ways of making the heart work harder and trying to understand if, while the heart is working harder, it seems to be angry, upset, needing more oxygen. I have heard a lot of stories anecdotally, and anecdotes are not data, so I hate to say this, like I'm a little mad at myself for actually bringing this up, but a lot of people have had normal stress tests and gone on to have a heart attack. And I do think that FFRCT is probably a better test. I would say that there's a lot of inertia behind classic stress testing, and a lot of cardiology divisions use that as a financial boost for their practice. And so there may or may not be some incentives to stick with classical stress testing. Personally, I would rather somebody get a CT angio than a stress test in my practice, but I am not a cardiologist. I don't even play one on television. So take that with a grain of salt. I know cardiologists who do both, some who still recommend stress tests and some who prefer CTA. Stay tuned on that one.